or your room or wherever?
I don't know if anybody turned it on for stand-ups or not. Oh, here comes Cassie.
Okay.
And looks like Lori is coming in here, so let me mark her down for executive.
We're live to the end now.
We're live now? Okay. I do not see Sharon Chung or Lindsay Bloomfield, but the other ones you do have Schaefer, Martin, Metzger, Johnston, and Beer.
Okay, great, thanks. I'd like to call the stand-up meeting on April 15th of the Health Committee to order. We have one item for action, which is request approval of a dietary consulting services agreement with Nutrition Care Systems Incorporated. And do I have a motion? Motion by Beer, second by Johnston. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none. Julie?
Member Beer.
Yes.
Member Johnston.
Yes.
Member Metzger. Because she's still muted in there if someone wants to be able to unmute her.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Member Martin.
Yes.
Member Chairman Schaefer.
Yes. And we don't have any other items, so this stand-up is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Julie, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. Now I can hear you and see you.
I didn't see me. I was having some technical difficulties. I had to switch machines, so we should be all good to go now. Thank
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Everybody here? Jim's there.
I don't see John on the screen. Is John in there?
Which Jim?
You.
And I do see Barnett. John, I see everyone present for the committee. Do you want me to call off the names or not?
You take roll last meeting. Susan took roll.
Yeah.
I just told her who was there. No, we did
Okay,
not.
we have everyone present. We'll be ready to go. Let me call the meeting of the Executive Committee to order. This is a stand-up meeting. We have one item for action, item B1B, request approval of resolution of the McLean County Board to amend the rules of the McLean County Board as contained within Chapter 20 of the McLean County Code. And you can find that on page 14. Is there a motion? Motion by member Solon, second by member Woolrab. Are there any comments, questions, or discussion about that? You should have, yes, member Woolrab.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to make an amendment to the paragraph C stating that people will also be permitted to call in to the meeting virtually. I'm not sure that it says that, you know, you and I discussed that as an option.
You would like to make an amendment to, I'm sorry, I'm trying to catch up here. Add that? Or
I'm looking for the, yeah, to add that so that the public can participate virtually as well as in person.
okay, let me wait a minute.
It is.
Doesn't it say that virtually?
It does.
It
Will be conducted virtually?
well, it says it's conducted virtually, but it's not clear to me that that people will be able because it says shall be open to the public and will be conducted in person in room 400 of the government center.
Okay,
Yeah, so if we could add to that sentence, and conducted in person in 400 and virtually
that
after
would be fine. Yeah,
the government center.
fine. Does everybody understand? We're asking that to be another way of making public comment. I think, Mr. Nelson, that we're able to do that technically, being in 400. And so if there are people that desire not to be there who are actually making public comment, they can call in, and I'll go over that a little later in our full board meeting, but 24 hours in advance, and then they'll be able to have a link where they could do it virtually. Yes. Thank you. So there's a motion to amend, adding the words virtually as stated there. Is there a second? Second by Member Martin. Any comments or questions? Other discussion? Member Metzger.
So this pertains to the public. Does it also then apply to the membership of the executive committee? So we would not be in person, we would be remain virtual?
Could. Similar to our, I believe, I'm my own personal interpretation of the rule, that if someone could not be there because of business or according to our previous rule that we have stated, they could participate virtually.
But not just because they don't want to be here.
No.
Okay.
No. You know how our rule is now.
Right, right. So that's going to continue.
It's been a year since we had a meeting in person like that. With the full board. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Okay. Sure. Anyone else have comments or discussion about that? Does everybody understand we're voting on the amendment to add the words virtually, participating virtually as well? Okay. Okay, we'll have a roll call vote.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Went,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes,
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes. So the amendment passes 9 votes to 0. Now we're back to the motion as amended before you, as in your packet. Is there a motion to approve? Or do we have a motion? I think we had a motion already. We had a motion on the floor by Member Martin. It was a second by Member Woolrab. Any other discussions? If not, we'll vote on the motion as amended.
Motion as amended. Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Went,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
yes,
Member Schaefer.
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, so the motion passes as amended, 9 yes votes, 0 no votes. And that motion does pass. I have nothing else for this stand-up meeting at this time. Anyone else? If not, then this meeting's adjourned.
Is it possible that I can check
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the full meeting of the regular meeting of the county board this Thursday, April 15th, 2021. And at this time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please rise for an invocation by Member Metzger.
Going to be reading Abraham Lincoln's prayer to the nation. Almighty God, who has given us this good land of our heritage, we humbly beseech thee that we may always prove ourselves a mindful people of thy favor and glad to do thy will. Bless our land with honorable ministry, sound learning, and pure manners. Save us from violence, discord, and confusion, from pride and ignorance, and from every ill way. Defend our liberties and fashion into one united people a multitude brought hither out of many kindreds and tongues. Endow with thy spirit the wisdom, those whom thy name we entrust the authority of government, that there may be justice and peace at home, and that through obedience of thy law, we show forth thy praise among the nations of the earth. In times of prosperity, fill our hearts with thankfulness, and the day of trouble, suffer not our trust in thee to fail. All which we ask through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. This time I'm going to ask Ms. Mordock to call the roll.
Randall Martin,
Present.
Catherine Metzger,
Present.
Susan Schaefer,
Here.
Logan Smith,
Here.
Yeah.
James Solner,
Here.
Gerald Thompson,
Present.
Shana Wachinski,
Here.
Benjamin Webb. Oh, I missed him, but I think, yep, he said.
Is it?
Okay. George Wendt,
Present.
Lori Woolrab,
Here.
Josh Barnett,
Present.
Hannah Beer,
Here.
Lindsay Bloomfield,
Present.
Sharon Chung,
Present.
Leah Klein,
Present.
Chuck Erickson,
Present.
William John Friedrich,
Present.
Elizabeth Johnston,
Here.
Val Lehman,
Present.
Chairman McIntyre, John McIntyre.
Here. We have 20 members present, 0 absent, and we do have a quorum. Let's go on to item 5 on our agenda, appearance by members of the public and county employees in reference to an agenda item. We do have one request to speak in person tonight. And at this time, I'd like to welcome the Honorable Mayor of Shinola, Chris Wilder, to join us here at the podium. Welcome, Chris.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good evening, everyone, and I appreciate your time tonight. On your agenda later this evening, I believe, is the transfer or approval of transfer of jurisdiction of County Highway 19, also known as Division Street. 2 sections, one section from County Road 3000 north to Bowles Avenue, located at the south edge of Shinola, and again from Route 24 north onward to Route 66. We've been discussing this at many of our meetings, and I and my colleague, Lee Reinhardt, is our water commissioner, have both supported this 100% at this point. I want to thank Jerry and his staff at the county, Jerry Stokes, Luke Hohulin. We worked together on the first portion of Division Street. They're phenomenal to work with. This is a good deal for you guys as well as us, and we appreciate your time and efforts, and want to let you know that we do support you and support this. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here.
Look forward to working with you some more in the future. Good. Thanks for coming down.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Are there any other public comments?
No, Chairman, there are not.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll go on to the consent agenda, item 6 before you. Let's say is there a motion? Motion by Member Johnston and a second by Member Thompson. Are there any questions, additions, or corrections? If not, we'll have a roll call vote.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Smith,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wojcinski,
Yes.
Member Webb,
Yes. Oh,
Member Wendt,
yes.
Member Wendt,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Bloomfield,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, so we do have 20 yes votes, 0 no votes, and the motion is carried. I'd like to call your attention to, it's part of the consent agenda. We do have a transfer item to vote on. Inherent the fact we just voted for the whole consent agenda with the majority vote, that would be included, but I do like to have anyone, for the record, if you have anybody that is an naysayer for the transfer item on pages, where is it on this time? I'm sorry, I lost track of turn
Is
page.
it on 2?
Yeah. Okay, for the transfer item, which was just part of, on page 4142, which is part of the consent agenda. Are there any members that wish to have their vote recorded as a no? If not, we'll consider them as transfer item to be also passed unanimously, and we'll move on at this time. To item G, I don't believe we have any resolutions or congratulations at this time. I want to remind everyone that approval of the bills is now included as part of our consent agenda. And obviously most of those were approved as they came out of committee as well. So we'll move on to that. Item 7 on our agenda, our standing committee reports. And we'll go first to our executive committee vice chairman, Solder. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Executive Committee has 2 items for action tonight. The first one is 7A 1A, request approval of a memorandum of understanding between Illinois State University, Illinois Wesleyan University, and other participating agencies of the town of Normal, city of Bloomington, and McLean County. I make that motion.
Motion by Vice Chairman Soldner. Is there a second? A second by Member Friedrich. Comments, questions? If not, we'll have a roll call vote.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Smith,
Abstain.
Member Soldner,
Yes?
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wojcinski,
Yes.
Member Webb,
Abstention.
Member Went,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Bloomfield,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Abstain?
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Abstain?
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, we had 16 yes votes and 4 abstentions, and the motion does carry. We'll move on to item 7A-B. Vice Chairman Solner, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next item is request approval of a resolution of the McLean County Board to amend the rules of the McLean County Board as contained within the Chapter 20 of the McLean County Code, and I so move.
Motion by Vice Chairman Solner. Is there a second? See the screen. Second by Member Woolrab. Comments or questions? If none, I'm sorry, Member Woolrab.
Just wanted to mention that we just amended that to include the ability for people to attend the meeting virtually.
Thank you for calling our attention to that amendment, which we just did in stand-up meeting. If anyone needs to do any clarification, executive committee members can attend remotely as per our rule, as long as it follows the guidelines and criteria for our rule in our book. And I hope that answers any questions that might come up. If not, I hope it does. Let's have a roll call vote.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Smith,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes?
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wachinski,
Yes.
Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Went,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Bloomfield,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, we have 20 yes votes, 0 no votes, and the motion is carried. Member Solder?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That concludes the items for action on our agenda tonight. Our general report can be found in the unapproved minutes, and I'd be glad to answer any other questions.
Thank you. We'll move on to the report of the Finance Committee, Chairman Metzger.
Thank you, Chairman McIntyre. The Finance Committee brings no items for action today. You can find our general report on pages 15 to 23 in the unapproved meeting minutes.
Thank you very much. We'll go on to the report of the Health Committee, Chairman Schaefer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Health Committee has one item for action today. It's request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2020 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance for the nursing home, and this requires 2/3 of vote, and I so move.
A motion by Chairman Schaefer. Is there a second? Second by Member Chung. Comments or questions or discussion? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Smith,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes?
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wachinski,
Yes.
Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Went, Member Went. Can he hear me?
Yes.
Member Went. Okay, thank you. Member Woolrab.
Yes. Yes.
Member, I'm sorry. Member Woolrab,
Yes.
thank you. Member Barnett,
Yeah.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Bloomfield,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, this item requires a 2/3 vote. Are there any dissenting votes? If not, then this motion passes unanimously. Member Schaefer, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our general report can be found on pages 2 through 5 of the unapproved minutes packet, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll move on to item D, Justice Committee report.
Thompson
Member
has a
Harrison.
question.
I'm sorry,
Thompson.
Member Thompson. Did you have a
I was,
question?
I received both vaccines at the arena, and I was very impressed at the process and the job well done. So I congratulate them for hard work and what they're doing.
Thank you very much. Okay, anyone else? If not, Chairman Erickson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Justice Committee brings item 7D1A. That's our item for action. Request approval of an emergency appropriation ordinance amending the McLean County fiscal year 2021 combined annual appropriation and budget ordinance, Children's Advocacy Center, and this requires a 2/3 vote. And I so move.
Motion by Chairman Erickson. Is there a second? Second by Member Chung. Comments or questions? Discussion? If not, we'll have a roll call vote. Chairman will vote.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Smith,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wachinski,
Yes. Yes.
Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Went,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Bloomfield,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes, we have 20 yes votes, 0 no votes. Motion is carried. This requires a 2/3 vote. Any no votes to be registered. Thank you very much. The motion carries unanimously. Member Erickson, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our general report can be found on pages 11 through 14 of our unapproved minutes, and I would be ecstatic to answer any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll go on to item E, Land Use and Development Committee. Chairman Wendt.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Land Use Committee has no items to present to the board, and our report is in the unapproved minutes. And I would answer any questions that anybody has.
Okay, thank you. We'll go on to the Property Committee report. Chairman Barnett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Property Committee brings no items for action to the board this evening, although a copy of our report can be found in the unapproved minutes packet. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. We'll go to the report of the Transportation Committee. Chairman Sollner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Transportation has one item for action this evening. However, it has 4 subsets. With your permission, I'd like to entertain these all as one motion, if there's no objection.
Is there any objection? You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Items are G1A, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it's section 20-00053-01-RS, Division Street in Chenoa, jurisdictional transfer. Request approval of a jurisdictional transfer agreement. Request approval of a jurisdictional transfer resolution. Jurisdictional transfer ordinance, which is information only. Finally, request approval of an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Chenoa, and I so move.
Motion by Chairman Zollner. Is there a second? Second by Member Thompson. Comments or questions? We'll have a roll call vote.
Member Martin,
Yes.
Member Metzger,
Yes.
Member Schaefer,
Yes.
Member Smith,
Yes.
Member Soldner,
Yes.
Member Thompson,
Yes.
Member Wachinski,
Yes.
Member Webb,
Yes.
Member Went,
Yes.
Member Woolrab,
Yes.
Member Barnett,
Yes.
Member Beer,
Yes.
Member Bloomfield,
Yes.
Member Chung,
Yes.
Member Klein,
Yes.
Member Erickson,
Yes.
Member Friedrich,
Yes.
Member Johnston,
Yes.
Member Lehman,
Yes.
Chairman McIntyre.
Yes. So we have 20 yes votes, 0 no votes. Motion is carried. Back to you, Member Zollner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That concludes the business of the Transportation Committee this evening. Our general report can be found in the unimproved minutes. I'd be glad to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. We'll go on to the report of the county administrator, Ms. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Chairman. The Office of County Administration does not have any items for action this evening, and I'd be happy to answer any questions of the membership.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions? Okay, thank you.
Member
I'm sorry,
Johnston.
Member Thompson.
Johnston.
Johnson. Having trouble seeing some hands. I'm sorry. Member Johnson, you have the floor.
Oh, thank you, Chair McIntyre. I just wanted to ask if we could get, I know that the administrator's office has been quite busy and keeps quite busy. And is there anything in particular that you guys are working on that we should know that are in the works? Just kind of keep a heads up on us.
Certainly. We're always very busy in county administration. One thing that is taking up a nice bit of our time right now in a very positive way is our work at the direction of the Property Committee, Member Johnston, to explore the possibilities of solar on some solar panels on some of the McLean County government buildings. We're working with a local contractor who is associated with the Illinois Solar for All. And what we've learned in that process is that we have to also apply for our downtown area and maybe even a little larger swath than that to be something called an environmental justice area so that we can apply for the grants that are associated with solar panels. So it's kept us quite busy gathering a year's worth of power bills and all of the justifications to put through these applications. But that is one thing that our small office has had added to our plate. Of course, we liaise with all 25 or so departments for their operational and personnel issues. And the list is so long right now that being on the spot, it seems like I should have so much more to say. Lastly, though, I'll add we are on the cusp of bringing forth next month the budget resolution. And so we are definitely thinking through our plans for what we do expect staff to do and rolling up their sleeves to work on the budget in the coming months and to get that document ready for the county board so that it's thorough and has all of the information that you always wish it to have. So goodness, I definitely should have so much more to say. Would Assistant County Administrators Taylor or Dreyer have anything to add?
I would add that our office is also involved with negotiating of 3 contracts currently. with our collective bargaining units. We also have been preparing for scheduling meetings of rules, upcoming rules sessions, and preparing those documents, as well as preparing and scheduling meetings for some executive committee meetings that Chairman McIntyre will be discussing shortly.
Yes.
And we had a lengthy meeting this morning to discuss updates to health committee concerns with the nursing home. So.
Yes, we are liaising right now with the nursing home on some of those activities that really did get put on hold because of COVID. And so we are going back to the drawing board on a lot of those, or just getting updates on what the nursing home staff have been working on even during COVID, and all of the work that they did to keep the operations moving and adjusting to all the new regulatory requirements therein. The only other thing I would add, and I don't have a lot to share with the membership, but the American Rescue Plan Act that will positively, we hope, affect many local governments with what we're calling stimulus money. I do think it's worthy to note that we don't know a lot in county administration. We are attending every webinar possible that we can to learn more about the stimulus money, what stipulations might be tied to it, what it can be used for, so that we can appropriately come to the membership and provide some options for your decisions and recommendations regarding the use of that. And I know you've been apprised that I'm a member and actually president of the Illinois County Administrators Association. I've been liaising a lot with that group because we are all in sort of the same boat, if you will, of knowing that the stimulus money is out there, but all of us having a bit of different information about what it can be used for. And again, it would be premature of us to have a discussion yet at this point, but those types of conversations and planning and strategy do take a lot of our time as well. Because we want to bring you the best and most thoughtful information when it's time to discuss it. I do appreciate you asking, Member Johnston, and thank you, membership, for listening to just a tidbit of what we do every day in county administration.
Okay, are there any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
If not, we'll go. I'm sorry, Member Webb.
Thank you, Chairman. This is mostly for administration and IT. I was unable to attend a meeting this last week, and so my question to IT and the administrator's office is, are they feeling comfortable as well prepared for the upcoming meetings regarding reapportionment? I noticed that you're looking a little blue tonight, and so I was just kind of curious if offices are feeling ready for a number of meetings coming very quickly on a very serious topic. So thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Yeah, I certainly, Mr. Nelson, our IT director, is here. I will say that, as we all deal with technology, probably in our jobs and personal lives, there are ups and downs with any use of technology as a means to have such meetings. We are confident that we will be able to continue our service of streaming these meetings and providing the public access through telephonic participation should they not want to come to the government center in person. And I know that sometimes it gets a little bumpy for all of us, but certainly we do feel confident that we can achieve what the chairman is asking of us.
Okay, thank you. Member Webb, are our screens blue tonight? Is that what you're meant by asking?
Yeah, you're a little bit cyan tonight.
Blue or am I blue or okay?
You're blue, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Let's move on to item 8 on our agenda, appearance by members of the public and county employees in reference to an item not on the agenda. Do we have anyone to sign?
No, we do not, Chairman.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll go on to other business and communication. Does anyone besides me have more other business to speak of? We'll go around the horn here. Member Solner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just wanted to announce and remind members that the Special Rules Subcommittee will meet on Wednesday, April 28th at 4:30 p.m. to discuss rules that were submitted earlier this month. And I will also mention that if any member still has any new rule or any rule change they'd like for us to consider, it needs to be given to the administrator by 4:30 Wednesday, April 21st, which is a week ahead of that meeting. That gives the administration time to get that information into a viable form and get it to our members. So I just wanted to make that comment.
Okay, thank you. Who else had their hands up? Member Schaefer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to point out that more vaccination openings were open today at 11, and there are still plenty of openings on various days, either at Grossinger Motor Arena on the 22nd and the 23rd, and in Lexington on the 23rd. So since everybody 16 and above is eligible, please pass the word that there's opportunities for those who want them.
Okay, thank you. Someone else? Member Chung?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight I wanted to voice something that has been weighing on me, so I hope that you'll indulge me, members of the board, for a few moments here. For the past year, I found it very difficult to speak about the increase in violence against Asian Americans across our country, but nothing affected me quite so much as the murders that occurred just about a month ago in Georgia. To say that it has been a difficult month for me emotionally and mentally is quite an understatement, and I thank those members who have reached out to me via text or phone or email and offering their sympathies and support. Those murders of 6 innocent Asian women at their place of work set off a personal journey of reflection and digging up of old painful memories. Because you see, while women have to deal with being objectified almost daily, Asian women are also bombarded with terrible racist and sexist stereotypes that have been perpetuated through the years in film, TV, and pop culture. I recalled the many times in my life when I've been asked any number of disgusting things by men in a horribly offensive Asian accent, or times when I've been told to steer clear of certain men because they had yellow fever. And I fought hard through my adult life to ignore most of these things when directed my way. So you can imagine the shock and horror I felt to my core when I received a picture in my email inbox of a member of this very board with a friend posted to social media with the very phrase I've heard directed at me many times in my life. And while I've had nothing but cordial interactions with this board member, I wasn't surprised in the least, because he was one of 5 board members that voted against taking out language in a resolution we passed last year that stated that COVID-19 came from China. And members of this board argued it wasn't germane to the issue at hand. And while the resolution was amended, these 5 board members still decided to keep the original language in. And violence against Asian Americans had already been on the rise at this time of this vote in March 2020. And even after I'd written a letter to the editor, which was published in the Pantograph, and voiced my disappointment, I still didn't hear one word of apology or remorse from these particular board members. And even recently so, when asked if he would apologize, one board member refused to do so unless I'd offer cold, hard proof that my family had been negatively affected by his vote. I guess it's hard to prove feelings, but I'll try anyway. So how about the fact that every time I've gone out in public since February 2020, I've been ready to defend myself or my children from verbal or physical attacks. And even though I've lived in this community for over a decade, and I feel like I know the people who live here, I now have to walk around wondering if someone will try and do something to me or my young children. And this also isn't cold hard proof, but I live in fear for my parents, who are both in their 70s, that they'll be attacked when going out in their town as well, since most of the attacks and violence have been against elderly Asians. And furthermore, to add insult to injury, when asked to sign on to a statement denouncing the violence and supporting our own Asians in our community, the chairman of this very board didn't sign on. And that is the bare minimum that one should do as an elected official in our community, the bare minimum. When I was elected to McLean County Board over 2 years ago, I heard over and over again how proud members were that we could look past our ideological differences and come together to work for the good of our county. And while I found that this mostly to be true, my faith has truly been shaken in this past year. Because if you can't even respect a fellow county board member, the only person of color on this 20-person board, what does that mean for the rest of the marginalized groups in our community? On a positive note, my friends in the Asian American Caucus, through their tireless work, passed through the Illinois House a bill that requires Asian American history to be included in school curriculum. And as the old adage goes, those who did not remember the past are condemned to repeat it. And our young people are leading the charge for change. And I invite you all to attend a vigil to honor and celebrate AAPI Lives a week from Friday in Uptown Circle at 7:15. And I hope that with me speaking about this today, that people realize that words do matter, and whether it's kung flu or any sort of derogatory misogynistic language against Asian women and people demeaning us to a racist, sexist stereotype, I, for one, am tired of being a punchline. Representation matters, Black Lives Matter, and Asians stand for Black lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Chung. We certainly all empathize with you and feel sorry for the impact this has personally had upon you. I would request that you call me to discuss what you said about my failure to sign on in detail, if you would, please. Is that correct? Thank you. Member Klein, you have your hand up?
Yes, sir. Can everyone hear me okay? Right. I'd like to take a moment tonight to speak about the rise of hate crimes and discrimination against Asian Americans in our country, and to add my support for our colleague, Sharon Chung. Sharon has been willing to speak from her own experience to help us to understand the impact of persistent negative stereotypes of Asian Americans, both on her own family and on many of our Asian American neighbors. But this effort should not fall on Sharon's shoulders alone. We as fellow members and as leaders need to stand with her and proactively assert our own commitment to stopping discrimination in our community. We should use our positions to advocate for a safe, welcoming community for everyone. And right now, our Asian neighbors need to hear this commitment especially. Late last month, I had the opportunity to attend a discussion hosted by Asia Connect, an organization that celebrates and advocates for Asian students, faculty, and staff at Illinois State University. It was a crushing event to hear from students and faculty alike about the discrimination that they have faced in our community, their worry for their children, and the anxiety and fear that they experience when they go about their daily lives, considering whether they will be safe while grocery shopping or walking their dogs. These were not far away fears, but the fears of people who live right here in McLean County. These tear-filled confessions were shattering, largely because so many of us in attendance did not understand their depth or persistence before. But anti-Asian hate is here, and we can help stop it by listening to our neighbors, by being willing to reflect on the ways we might have, inadvertently or not, contributed to these experiences. There is work to do, and we need to do it now. This starts with our collective responsibility to our community and our role in making sure that we all live up to our highest ideals. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments? I certainly ask all of you to refrain from any personal types of attacks or accusation on any member of this board, and hopefully we'll always keep the lines of communication open and we can discuss these on a personal basis. So thank you, and we'll try to work on this some more. I have one item, which you received an email from me probably about an hour prior to the meeting, and what it was is so you'll be able to refer to the schedule. I'd like to read from my notes for my plans for speaking tonight. In order to have best possible equal and fair representation that follows state law and guidelines, I think it is appropriate for our county that we all want to become, so that all have a fair share in becoming county board representatives. Also, it's important that all residents and groups have an opportunity to present for consideration any ideas. This includes all current members of our board, and also want to look at the best practices of other counties and get a good idea and comparison on what works best for our county for the next decade with the district. I've asked our executive committee to provide organization insight and the best recommendations for consideration. I really want to hear from the public input, and so we felt the best way to do this was open to the public and have public input sessions. And I wanted to be sure that it was accessible enough that we have more than one. You can refer to the schedule that we have for this. I've asked our administration to set up the schedule and execute a series of these meetings where everybody can come in and present their ideas, comments, suggestions, and any possible plans that they want to submit to be on file. Obviously, these are public meetings. In conjunction with that, I've asked the state's attorney's office to provide us counsel, deadlines, of which we've already received some, interpretation of the state deadlines and guidelines, and establishment of rules to follow during these sessions. I believe that room 400 will be a very workable fit for this facility, and we are right now in the process, with the help of the administration, working out any problems that there would be with this so that we can include virtual participation for those members of the public who still feel uncomfortable about coming in public. I will ask you, executive committee members, to participate in public if you can, and if you have other things, business and other things that we're going to be out of town, as per our criteria and our rules, to participate remotely if possible. I'll be asking all the media, and I've asked our county administration to reach out to local governments and all of our media to get the word out. I know this is fairly quick notice. That's why we wanted to have more than one session available. You'll notice that the last session on May 3rd is at 7 p.m. at night. And so anyone could be available that was not able to come because of work. That's primarily what I think I want to address at this time. We will ask anyone who wants to speak and appear to call into our administrative office and sign up 24 hours in advance per our rule, and we will have people speak in chronological order in which they do that. So there's more than one opportunity for public impact. Question might come up about groups. We do have a rule that if there's a group of people that want to be represented, they would have 15 minutes. And I believe I'm correct on that, to have a designated speaker, but to represent that. I know there's been some offering and thought about different types of groups that might want to represent different types of situations and people in the county, and hopefully this will have to give everyone an opportunity. At this time, I'd like to open it up just a minute. If anyone has any questions, I'll do the best that I can to answer those as we work through this process. Is there anyone? Member Johnston?
Thank you, Chairman McIntyre. I will just take a minute. I want to thank you for putting this together and making it available to the public and being much more clear about what to expect in the meeting and what to be presenting, like what they can bring forth. Just a quick thing on the memo that you've got together.
Yes.
On page 1, all of the districts are updated with who's their current representative. On page 2, it's got Don Cavallini. It's got quite a few members who are no longer on the board. So if we could get page 2 updated with the current membership, I would be most.
I'm sorry, but I'm not sure. I'm not aware what item you're referring to.
So on the redistricting memo that was emailed to us, on page 1 at the bottom, it has the list of all 10 districts and the representatives. And page 1 was updated, but page 2, if you look at the bottom, it is not updated. It's got quite a few members that are no longer with the board.
I'm sorry, Member Johnson, but I'm not aware of any memo that was mailed out from administration that had any district on that.
Ms. Morlock is asking. us.
Okay, Ms. Morlock, you do enlighten us?
Sure. That is on the letterhead. And I took the memo and I put it on the letterhead, and I thought I was putting it on the 1-page letterhead. And I put it on one that continued, and you grabbed one from a previous thing. So it's my fault for grabbing the wrong memo as I tried to rush and get it, or letterhead as I tried to rush and get it out. So I apologize.
Okay, thank you. Does that answer your question? All right, Member Johnson? All right, thank you. Member Schaefer, you have your hand up?
Yeah, I just read it just now, and we have the dates and the times on there. Is there going to be any kind of ending time? Because, I mean, depending upon how many people want to come at any point in time? Are we going to, say, okay, it's going to start at 4:30 and we're going to go until 8:30 and have so many hours? Or, I mean, we could go 24 hours maybe if there were enough people. And I kind of wanted to know if we were going to have a ending time on each one of those dates.
I would hope that I'm going to ask our county administrative office to record people, the number of people that signed in. If we feel that when we look at the rules and the time limits allowed, if there's going to be time that is longer than, say, whatever can be determined to be inconvenient for everyone, especially the night meeting, or going into a dinner hour over a couple hours, maybe we might ask them to participate in the next meeting. Also, we'll be flexible on this, and if we had to, we could actually extend and put another meeting up time as we move forward. These are special sessions of the executive committee. I hope that will answer you enough. We'll try to accommodate everyone the best we can. We won't be here past midnight. I'm joking, of course. Member Woolrab? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Member Woolrab.
Entire. I believe in executive committee, one of the things we discussed was having the data, the census data available to groups or individuals who wanted to propose or look at maps. And I was just wondering if you could be, if you could maybe update us on how people would go about getting that data.
Request our administrative office to have the census data from the last census from 2010, a census where anybody could come in and pick it up or have access to that if they needed to use that time. Does that answer your question? Okay. Yeah. Of course, the new we're doing this in two stages. First, we'll be working on district numbers and county board numbers, member numbers. And then the second stage in May, we'll have other special meetings to address more the mapping process. And so it is a two-stage process. And during that time, we're hoping that maybe there'll be more census numbers, the new census numbers in, or we're going to hear from the state. Obviously, we're going to follow state guidelines and deadlines as far as following procedures here. Right now, we have a July 1st deadline to get this completed. So that does give us 2 months. The state might extend it. We're not sure yet because of the delay in the census figures, because they may want us to use the new census figures. Obviously, that would be ideal. Or they may determine that we are to go ahead. And I think they're looking at the same situation in Springfield of what to do. So we'll wait and hear from them the best we can. Hopefully, either they'll extend our deadline in May, or they will tell us to go ahead with what we have. I hope that answers your question. Did anyone else have their hand up? Well, not. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your cooperation on this. It is our first venture back into having types of in-person meeting. We're really going to work to make it accessible and accommodate the public the best we can, and going back into the room with our technology as well. If you have nothing else tonight, then I'd like to adjourn this meeting. Okay, thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned.